Brent Faiyaz has created a huge following with his unique blend of angelic vocals, dark production, and unashamedly vivid lyrics. With 4 full-length albums to his name and over 20 million monthly listeners on Spotify alone, he's carved his own unique lane in the R&B landscape. In this video, I'll be making a beat from scratch, showing you how to get his signature sound. I'll cover a few key things you need to know in order to create beats like Brent Faiyaz. Firstly, I'll show you how to get the drums just right, from sound selection to programming to mixing. Secondly, I'll explain what type of chords and harmonic rhythms lend themselves to this kind of music. And most importantly, well, you'll have to watch the video for yourself to find out the most important part in getting Brent's sound. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm looking forward to this one. Been listening to his music a lot recently. So today I'm going to make a beat around a sample from my Moody Pianos sample pack, which you can find linked to in the description if you like it. So yeah, I think it's perfect because it's moody. Brent Faiyaz, his music is really atmospheric, dark. So I'm thinking using one of those samples, manipulate it a little bit, should be absolutely perfect for this kind of music. So let's just take a listen to some of them. Jazzy, okay, I like that. That could work. That could work. That could work. That could work as well. Ooh. Tough to choose. I'm gonna go with this. Gonna go with this E minor. It's actually in 132. We've slowed it down a little bit. I'm at 115. Okay. That high element. Ooh, that's cool. Okay, I want to use that lower element as the main focus. So I'm going to turn down the 2 higher ones. Like that. Wonder what this would sound like with like a halftime on it. That's without. Makes it suitably more moody. That's what we want for Brent. You know, one of the key things in his production is that atmospheric, dark kind of sounding production, and we're going to get more into that later with the extra layers, but you want to start your, get that core sample layer sounding nice and moody just to start with as well. Group these up, and then we can treat this as one. Let's get some needlepoint on there, make it a bit more lo-fi. Cut some of the low out. Okay, I'm loving how that sample's sounding already. It sounds incredible in my opinion. So I think I'm going to dive straight into the drums, because I think the drums is one of the most interesting aspects of Brent's production, and it's definitely one of the key elements I want to talk about today. So let's get up some sampled drums, let's pull up some sounds and get stuck into it. Okay, I've gone ahead and grabbed some drum sounds out of Splice. I've got these kicks, which I'm going to layer up, and then I've got a wide range of snares and claps. Because Brent likes to use different claps and snares on different beats. He likes to layer them, put different effects, so we're definitely going to get into that. And then this hat, which I'm going to pitch down and filter out a little bit to get that kind of Brent Faiyaz hi-hat sound. I'm also going to drop the decay down on this sound a little bit. I want this longer snare coming in every second bar. This clap can be like this. Alright, that's giving us what we want. Let's record in a kick pattern. Okay, cool. There's a nice space for other little bits to fill in that groove, so I think we'll go with that for now. Let's start getting that hat recorded in. Okay, I like that pattern. Give that little quantization. Okay, time for some drum bus processing. First off, I want to group the kick and send it to a bus because I think that kick could be a little bit more aggressive. So let's get some devil lock on there. Right, we want a longer reverb on this long snare. Okay, that's cool. Okay, on the clap, I think we can get something interesting on there. Maybe a micro shift, giving it some chorus. I try spaced out on everything, but it could go onto here. Let's try it. I've just grabbed this other snare and reversed it, and I'm going to put that leading into the last snare every 4 bars or something, just to give a nice little sort of reverse hit kind of thing. Let's see how that's going to sound. Oh, it sounds good. It sounds good. Of course it does. Sounds crazy. Cool, that rounds off the drums for this beat. And as you've seen, the key to getting those Brent Faiyaz drums really sounding good is to just mix up your snares, mix up your different kind of percussive elements, get a few different sounds so it's not just the same thing, because he keeps the patterns pretty simple. So, you know, it's just a quarter note hi-hat, nice little simple kick pattern, and then the snares and the claps is where you can really kind of have fun, put some different effects on it, and make the beat come alive a little bit more. So, we've got that in, let's move on to the bass. Okay, let's get that bass sounding a little bit nicer. So let's run this through a bit of variable compression. I'm mainly running it through this just for the saturation, to be honest. Okay, our basic groove is taking shape super nicely. We've got that melodic kind of dark sound to this, mainly from this sample, which just sounded pretty perfect already. Another key thing I want to talk about in Brent's music is the chordal simplicity that he uses. Most of his songs, like Trust, like Poison, only use 2 or 3 chords throughout the whole song. And so one reason I kind of instinctively chose this sample is that this sample happens to be just 2 chords with the nice accent parts that sort of carry the interest throughout the sample. So you can see this is just an E minor 7 into a B minor 7. And that gives you that sort of moodier sound by default, because when you've got those 2 things kind of just changing between the 2 chords, oscillating between one another, it gives you this sort of hypnotic sound that adds to that whole atmospheric vibe that Brent's going for in his music. So that's really something to bear in mind when you're producing in this genre. If you're using samples, use simple ones. If you're making your own chords, make them pretty simple and then build around them. It's more about the textures and the sonics of it than the actual, you know, chordal simplicity. You don't need to be doing crazy chord changes or anything to get a really great sound when you're making music like Brent. So with that said, let's add some more of that texture and atmosphere around what we've already got. So I've just pulled up this kind of woodwindy sound to get a little additional melody in there. Sounds like that. Let's get something in. Okay, got a nice simple melody in there. I actually prefer the first half of that. I'm just going to use the first half, duplicate it over, and then this definitely needs to go through some serious effects. Let's see what we've got in the effects plugins. Maybe a Portal on there. I haven't used Portal in ages. Okay, we've got that Portal on there, doing some crazy stuff. Who knows how that plugin works? Not me, but it sounds good. Take some top off. We're back in the mix. I think just spreading that out across the stereo field a little bit would be cool. Yeah, let's spread this out across the field a bit. Now, as As well as give a bit more extra flavour, I want to get a nice Rhodes in there. You can already hear Brent over this. This is crazy. Okay, I think we're going to go for one more thing to add a bit more of that texture and ambience and moodiness. I think getting like a choir sample, maybe from Omnisphere, could sound really cool over this. Love that. Okay, so I've cut up the first half of that Omnisphere to make the rhythm a little bit more interesting, and then I added a shaper box doing this thing, and now we got this. So you can see it's just adding that extra texture like layer. It's not very prominent in the mix, but when you combine it with the other stuff we added, the Rhodes, the little synth line, you get a really nice like rich piece, all coming from that same nice moody sounding sample that I started with. All right, that rounds off today's beat. If you like the sample, the pack is on my website, top link in the description, so check that out. And let's take one final listen to the beat. See you in the next one. Peace.